Let's go to Inkai now. Joining us is the National Senator Matt Canavan. Matt, good to see you. I know you can't wait to watch that Harry and Meghan documentary on Netflix, am I right?
Mate, there might be a few other things on my list on Netflix there ahead of that. So we'll just see when I pull up stumps this year and how much time I've got.
Mate, that's some Christmas
I haven't got through
viewing
the Crown yet. Maybe the Crown would probably be better.
I wasn't going to ask you about this, but it's just funny looking at that documentary there. The grift is real with those two. I mean, they complain about their privacy being intruded, but then they're releasing a documentary for the world to see. I mean, the hypocrisy is unreal.
Look, I think the British people have had their say on Harry and Meghan. They got a fairly cold reception there when they did travel to his grandmother's funeral services.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was an outward aggression, but you could just tell that the people have fallen out of love with Harry, and that's a real shame. Look, I think he's a great guy and had a lot to offer the world. He does great work with veterans through the Invictus Games, and hopefully he can concentrate on that because, I find all this tawdry airing of family dysfunction just a little tawdry because we've all got that. We've all got that in our families,
yeah.
And I don't think Harry has a particularly special story. We all have to go through our different family difficulties. It's always best done, I think, behind closed doors.
All right, speaking of dysfunction, let's go to energy and this attempt to bring down energy prices. The National Cabinet, it was supposed to happen tomorrow. Unfortunately, the Prime Minister's got COVID. If he's not well enough to do it, though, should a replacement be brought in? Richard Marles is away, perhaps, as James Patterson just pointed out, the next in line should be the Treasurer, Jim Chalmers. Wouldn't that be a suitable replacement?
Yeah, look, I think this is a little bit of a shame. We do need action here on energy, and in particular, the government needs to clear up the absolute disarray they've caused over the past month. They've been airing and flying more kites than you'd see at a windy beach on a summer's day. They've just got so many different policies out there, and I know, speaking to people in the energy sector and the resources sector, there's a huge amount of concern here. Our reputation as a country is being damaged on a daily basis because every day they wake up, they see a new story in the newspaper, curbs on exports, price caps on their products, how that's going to work. They're going to force people to sell them, to be sold a product at a cheap price. It's just out of control, and the government needs to get their act together here and come up with a plan. They told us 6 months ago they had a plan to cut power prices by $275 a year. They walked away from that within weeks, and now they are all over the shop. It's destroying confidence, and it's only going to make our energy situation worse until they clear it up.
OK, so, I mean, a lot of the focus at the moment tends to be on those price caps, particularly on coal. Is that something that you would support?
Look, I can't see how this would work properly. Obviously, I'll wait and see the detail, and if it is a good plan, I'd support that plan. But to me, price caps always end in tears because they lead to shortages, and if you get a shortage in the electricity market, you get a blackout. They haven't really worked in history before, and as I said earlier, alluded to, how's this going to work if they force or they say you've got to sell coal at this price domestically, but it's going to be up here overseas, same with gas? Well, how are they going to force that to be sold on the domestic market? And where are we going here with these sort of regulations? As I say, the risk we're doing to our reputation is enormous. And isn't it just so ironic that you've got the same people who wanted to end fossil fuels, say that we don't need coal anymore, and now they want to pass laws to force people to sell them coal at a discount? It seems to me there's just one Christmas gift Anthony Albanese wants under his tree this year, and that's a lump of coal.
Yeah, no, all of a sudden people becoming very protective of coal. That's a very good point to make, Matt Canavan. I mean, you've got New South Wales and Queensland. They make about $9 billion in combined coal royalties. Is it fair enough for them to ask for compensation?
Well, look, if the federal government is imposing this, I think it should make sure that those states that do rely on these industries are made whole. I'll stick up for Queensland like the Premier is here and do that. Although I think, really who needs to be compensated is the Australian people. Australian families voted for Anthony Albanese, as I said, thinking that they would get $275 off their electricity price a year. And as interest rates keep going up, another one today, add a couple of $100 on your repayments every month on an average mortgage. That's that money could have been really helpful. So they're the ones who deserve compensation. Fair enough to make the state governments whole if there's any changes, but Anthony Albanese needs to deliver on his promises. OK, and so speaking of Labor premiers, Peter Malinauskas, it seems like you've got a friend in him when it comes to nuclear, but not so the Prime Minister, Matt Canavan. Yeah, I just think this hysterical rejection of people wanting a debate belies the fact that those opposed to nuclear energy really aren't really confident in their position anymore. This reaction we saw yesterday to Peter Malinauskas just openly saying, hey, look, once we get nuclear submarines, they're going to be effectively nuclear reactors travelling all around Australia, little small modular reactors in 10 or 12 vessels. Once we get those, maybe we should think about nuclear power, nuclear energy in our country. Why wouldn't we have it on land if we can have it in the sea? And as I say, this reaction, this knee-jerk reaction from the Prime Minister, from Tanya Plibersek, just shows that these people have a closed mind when it comes to energy, and these closed minds are why we're in this mess. It's why we're in this problem, because we just want to obsessively say it's all about renewables and nothing else can ever come in. And I'm not against wind and solar energy. We should have some of that in our system. We just need to have lots of different types of energy to suit different types of environments. We need different horses for different courses when it comes to energy. And we do need baseload power. Nuclear energy provides that. We should consider it. I hope the Labor Party, more Labor Party people start listening to people like Peter Malinauskas and don't just close their minds off to the ideas that can bring power bills down for Australian families.
All right, there you go, Matt Canavan, live in beautiful Mackay. What a cracking morning there in Mackay. Thank you, Matt.
It is beautiful. How good is Queensland? Thanks, mate.